Dobro jutro, dobar dan. Kak ste? Odlično, odlično. Zovem se Patrik Minks, radim za Autodesk, and today I will be again speaking my funny English, unfortunately. Thank you for coming. It's a real joy to see you after 2 years being locked in our home office. Today I will be talking about innovation, about impact of innovation on your profitability, your productivity, effectivity, but also about impact of innovation on environment and society, people, you, your employees, and people who are living, working, and doing anything else in projects that you design and you build. We do provide tools to you innovators to change the world, and I just want to remind here that we actually support 3 key pillars. One is architecture, engineering and construction, AEC. The other one is manufacturing, and the third one is gaming and filming industry. And it's important because what we see recently is convergence of these industries. These industries are learning from each other, so that we need to provide you tools that enable you to benefit out of that. Looking what happened in last 40 years, and times flies fast, right? So we started together with CAD, then it was BIM, and BIM actually is a basis for everything going forward. Then it was cloud collaboration. And recently, we started to talk about advanced automation, which is generative design, which is machine learning, which is artificial intelligence, and so on. And there are 2 things actually important here on that chart. So, djevojke i mladići, to je vrlo bitno. If you go more to the right, more data is being created and more data is being used. And this will continue. That's one important part. The other important aspect here is that every phase is shorter than the previous one, which means that it was perfectly okay to be 5 years delayed with implementation of CAD. But if you are 5 years late with implementation of cloud or automation, like advanced automation like machine learning and artificial intelligence, generative design, then you might get into real serious trouble for your company. So the strategy, how to take innovations, how to jump on it, is definitely not to wait too long, not speaking of neglecting it at all. You are here or you are connected, so you are probably not neglecting it. But the thing is that really today you don't have that benefit of time to wait until something is 110% ready and finished. You simply need to start innovate this new thing, apply in your life, in your professional life as soon as possible. So the first part of my presentation, and big part, is the impact of innovations. And besides effectivity, productivity is impact on environment, impact on people. And so far, impact on environment and people was something a little bit fancy. It was kind of, no one was paying for that, sustainability issues. We knew we had to do it, but it was not that important as it is today. Look at last 2 years. What happened with COVID? What is happening with energy prices, with gas prices? What is happening with prices of raw material? If you want a steel for your project, it's 3 times more expensive than it was in the past, if you even can get steel. So you need to think about how, with innovations, how you overcome these difficulties. So first difficulty, 2 years ago, from one day to another, we were locked in our living rooms, kitchen tables, home offices. And this separation for all of us was actually just multiplying something that we already knew about construction industry. Construction industry is very collaborative industry. So you work with many partners, investors, architects, engineers, authorities, many teams. Yet, it is very fragmented business. So a lot of data is stored and kept in kind of silos, and data is not flowing around. And the communication is always like not that good as it should be. But with COVID, and that was the positive side of it, you had to find a way how to collaborate on distance. So you have implemented cloud collaboration. And some of you, it was just ability to save the data in the cloud and upload it back for your needs. What is more important, though, is the whole agenda of working on top of these engineering documentation, which means that you think about issues, markups, you think about having the ability to track changes, to track who is actually downloading your file, who is actually using that file in his project, and who is not, and why. All these things could be solved in advanced cloud collaboration tools. And with that, we can talk about managed cloud collaboration. And along the way, if you do it right, if you really capture issues into cloud solution, if you capture markups, if you capture changes, then the system might get it back to you in a form of dashboard that is using artificial intelligence to help you to understand if there is any risk connected with your project. So that system tells you, hey, you are in a phase of a project where there might be some kind of issue because this happened in your previous projects in a similar situation. Or you may be working with some team who in the past had difficulties, and this system will warn you that be careful. Now there is this team and there were issues. So you can do a predictive things to avoid actually these risks and these issues. So these are innovations you are intended to help you to work in a better way. And then it's about what you design. And coming back to COVID, there are new rules how you need to design working places. So there is need for maintaining the social distance. There is a need to understand how the air is flowing in the room. There is a need for making sure that people, if they are moving in corridors, they are not congesting, so there are not traffic jams of people. Because everyone wants to maintain his space, and it's about safety and health. So it's that social impact of your design. And if you use the right tools, then it's easy. So here is generative design. And generative design, by the way, it's something that is turning upside down role of designers. Because so far we used computers only as a tool to either draw or model something and write data down. But generative design is changing that massively. So it's coming with actually being a design partner for you. You as a designer, architect, engineer, you will set up rules, you will set up conditions, you will tell what is important to achieve in the project, and then computer will do all the manual work to create all design options that are meeting your criteria. And it will be your work to select out of these 440 or 400 design options, which you would never be able to create because you don't have physical capacity for that, but computer does. So if you have 400 design options, then you say, okay, this criteria is more important for me than the other one. And you select 4. And you then work with these 4 and you say, okay, from aesthetic perspective, I choose this one and that one. So that's how it's going to change your role. You will be more consultant to your customers, and you will telling them what is important for them and why, and then you will use computers to just generate the drawings. If I speak about environmental impact, it's all about material productivity, meaning we're thinking about how to avoid waste, how to use less materials, and it's about energy consumption, of course. So starting with materials, that's an example from General Motors. And the goal was to design that piece or that part in a new way. So you want to maintain the connecting points, but you want to achieve that the piece is stronger and it's easier to produce and it's lighter, so it's using less raw material. And my question to you is, can we do that in architecture, engineering, and construction? Can we do that to our structural columns? Can we do that to our bridges? And actually, yes, I saw some bridge that is designed with that technology. So why not? If there is a scarcity of materials, then be creative and find the way how to use generative design to find the best option that most probably you would not be able to come up with as a human being, but computer can deliver that design that meets your criteria. This is something we are working on, so it's not a product that's available yet, but this is something which will give you possibility to evaluate or to see what kind of material strategy is leading you to a better design. And in that case, you are interested in carbon footprint, costs, weight, and design intent. So computer creates several options for you, and on the left-hand side it's timber, then it's steel and concrete, and steel and precast concrete. And you can immediately see how it works from that perspective of these parameters like carbon footprint and weight and cost. Similar here on the right-hand side. So several options how to actually put your structural parts and what's the impact on carbon footprint, on cost, on weight, so material usage again. Speaking of energy, that's available in AEC collections, so it's a tool that tells you in a very early design phase if that design is, or what's going to be energy consumption for that design option. And of course, it will not give you an exact numbers, but it's intended to be used to compare several design options. In early stage, you say, this is better from energy perspective for the future use. And that's important. If energy costs 3 times more than it did, then how it is important. Actually, Skanska says that, according to their research, 50% of the value of the project is being created in very early stage. And that's why we also acquired Spacemaker. So it's a tool that's available on your market already from last 2 months. That's a tool that is being used in very, very early stage. So you buy a piece of land, or even you don't buy it, you think about piece of land, and then you think how to use it. And on the fly, you get hundreds of analyses and simulations. So whatever change you make, you immediately see what is the impact on energy consumption, on sun, on noise. There are analyses of wind, analysis of density, so how many apartments. There are analyses that tells you which apartment has a better view. In this case, it's a River Seine or Tour Eiffel, but whatever. There are so many analyses you get on the fly. It's easy to use. You can learn it in, if I exaggerate, in 1 afternoon. If not, then in 2 days, and you can start to use it. And you have a basis for your design decisions, so you know what you design and why, because you have supported it with data. If I talk about, I talked about impact of what you are doing and what we are doing, there is more about it. We just 4 weeks ago, we published Autodesk Impact Report. It's a long reading, 80 pages, about how we do with that. And I suggest you download it because it's not only about us, but we are showcasing in that report our customers. So your colleagues, your competitors, how they are doing. There are some projects showcased, including the numbers, so what they have achieved. and what tools they were using. And there are many other data besides the others. What is important from sustainability perspective to your colleagues and to your competitors? And you may compare yourself with them. So a lot of data in that report, and I really suggest you go into it. Yes, so that was my first part. I can't, of course, mention all innovations we are working on and you might use today because of the limited time. But the other thing I want to mention here is something I already announced as a very important thing, and it's a data. We produce or we generate more and more data, and it's not only us or you, while you design or you capture issues, difficulties of the project, and so on. It's also IoT, so Internet of Things. We will get more and more data. We already have a lot. The sad thing is that majority of data is going unused. And there are, I would say, two areas why it's so. One is we don't use technology that is available to work with data that we create, and that would be for example, these dashboards I was showing that is telling you if you are in a risk situation or not. That's one part of it. So we don't use what we have. The second part is more on us. So the truth is that it's not that easy to move data smoothly between different applications, between different professions. And that is something that is going to change. So we have created a platform called Forge. And Forge is a platform that is used for our cloud solutions. And we store these cloud solutions there, and we store data there. And there will be a dramatic change coming very soon. It's a vision, so please don't make your purchasing decisions based on what I'm just showing. It's a vision for us for something like 5 years. In next 1 or 2 years, we will add one more layer to this Forge platform, or we will separate one layer, and that is data layer. This data layer where we store the data that are used in cloud solutions, we will change these data. So we will make it more granular, more standardized, and more transparent. Eventually, it will mean that independently on what tool you use to create the data, you will be able to connect to that data or read that data. In other words, it will be end of sending emails with files because you will be connecting to the same data. So it will be architect connecting to the same data with civil engineer, maybe with mechanical engineer, maybe with mechanical producer of I don't know what, heat pump. All will use the same data that will be readable by all applications we have. And it goes even beyond our own tools, so beyond Autodesk. And that will happen in the next something like 1 to 2 years. Vision. The other vision is that we explode our products. So if you use Revit, Inventor, Civil, AutoCAD, we will explode these products. And instead of these products, we will have functionalities. We will put these functionalities to that cloud, to that layer of Forge service, and you will be able to pick functionality that you need for your project at this time. And you will be able to combine actually functionalities from different professions. So it's not only, if you are an architect and all of a sudden, for some reason, you need a functionality that is today only for manufacturing solutions, you will have that available here. So combine that with the data that are readable with every tool, you will have all functionalities available. That's opening a lot more new possibilities for you. You just get creative about what you can do how you can change your outcomes, how you can change outcomes of your project. So we call it Platform for Better. We believe it will be better for you. It's still a way to go, but small steps have been done already. And with that, I'm at the end of my presentation. So thank you very much for your attention. I wish you have strength, and mind strong enough for doing as many innovation and as many innovative tools and projects and everything. And I wish you that you have nice projects, well paid, and with that, wishing you a good day. Thank you very much.